The year was 1969 when three friends, William Robbins, Robert Blum, and Thomas Evans, who were members of the Lyford Cay Club, embarked on a journey of philanthropy that would help shape the lives of Bahamians for decades to come. Their original mission was to provide grants to local charities, and this mission was expanded to offer scholarship programs that would change the lives of countless Bahamians. Together, the Lyford Cay Foundations envisioned a Bahamas where every Bahamian would be empowered to reach his or her full potential.
I think through life, we have been afforded people who come into our lives to help us and to assist us, and I like to call them destiny helpers. And I consider the Lyford Cay Foundation to be a destiny helper.
Dream, plan, succeed. We are Lyford Cay Foundations, and this is our journey. On this journey, we will share our story
and the stories of scholars who represent thousands of Bahamians who belong to our Lyford Cay Scholar family,
and continue to build a better Bahamas.
When I first learned that I was a recipient of the Lyford Cay Foundation Scholarship, I cried. I felt like everything came together at that moment.
I don't know if there are any words to describe how I felt, because I honestly did not think that I was going to win the award.
It was just a huge sense of relief and excitement knowing that I would be able to pursue my education abroad.
I think the saying goes, third time's a charm, because it was my third time applying to be a Lyford Cay Scholar, and
I remembered winning a Lyford Cay scholarship like it was yesterday, but for me that happened in 1996, so I think I'm losing track of time. But I remember the joy that I felt when that happened.
Proud, honored, excited, a little afraid.
Honored to be able to get that award, and for what it meant in terms of my education was a really great feeling.
I was just overly excited because I was like, is this really happening? The Lyford Cay award is so prestigious.
It was the opportunity to live out a passion, to find a purpose, and obviously to come back to the Bahamas and help to try to pioneer an industry that was desperately needed here.
That scholarship set me off on a journey that would change the course of my life.
I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing now if that didn't come through for me.
So Lyford Cay Foundations as an organization really just symbolizes the concept of philanthropy in the Bahamas for me. A group of people at a leadership level decided to make really major investments in this country that started with things like, yes, funding Bahamians to go abroad to school, but also a multi-million-dollar investment in UB for their library, looking at projects more recently like Hurricane Dorian and food relief for COVID. You know, these are transformational investments in the country.
Very many highlights, very, very, very many. Being a cultural ambassador for the Bahamas, definitely, and the closest thing to my heart is being a teacher.
It allowed the small light that would have been a part of my life to hopefully shine for other persons. So right now, we have over 60 employees across 3 offices, US, here, and in Turks and Caicos. So I think just the opportunity to open doors as the first Bahamian coastal engineer in a time where climate change, sea level rise, intensifying hurricanes is just more relevant than ever. I think it was an opportunity for us to start to point the light on something that is probably the biggest single issue of our generation.
So I've been throughout the world, from Vancouver to Jamaica to Glasgow, Scotland, trained in Strasbourg, France, Hamburg, Germany. It's a great blessing, which was started with receiving the first scholarship with Lyford Cay Foundation.
Piano is my #1 instrument, but strings is my #2. And I think the highlight for me as a performer was playing on the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Hall stage, playing Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings. And for me, playing violin in the same hall as the Chicago Symphony was, for me, the greatest highlight from those 3 years that the Lyford Cay Harry Seymour Scholarship afforded me.
So So I had the unique opportunity to work for the Bellagio Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. It instilled a degree of service excellence that I really wanted to bring home with me and contribute to our industry, because tourism and hospitality is our #1 industry. It's our economic engine. Island Destination Services is an award-winning destination management and special events company. I wanted our company to be the fuel that helped other businesses grow. I knew that my global network and experience could help take Bahamian businesses to the next level.
So, at actually a pretty early point in my career, I had this amazing opportunity to become the COO for an international financial services firm in the Bahamas, and I was under 30 at the time. It's been an absolutely great part of my career. While my passion has been financial services for a long time, I always kind of had this interest about coffee and tea, and I would always joke that, I would take a hiatus one day and do something in this world. And so I've started this small business. For me, it's just about kind of getting the word out there about, how good coffee, fresh coffee and tea can be and how easy it can be to make. The whole idea is to, have a delivery service where I can get it to people's homes, make it easy for them, and, kind of help to grow the coffee scene in the Bahamas.
One of the most memorable community service initiatives that we facilitated with a corporate client was our donation to the Bahamas Red Cross of 3,000 hurricane disaster preparedness kits. In just 6 minutes, we had 600 visitors package 3,000 hurricane disaster preparedness kits. That experience combined the joy of travel with the joy of community service. And for me, nothing felt better. And this is something that the Lyford Cay Foundations have done for decades.
With COVID came, and through our coaches' guidance, the pivots to get us involved in other things, really, to keep our team busy. And so we've had several of them. Such pivot we did was into Eden Farms, which is a hydroponic containerized farming startup. This was just the perfect timing as we talk about food security, climate controlled, organic, pesticide-free growth. And so we have one of the farms here, and we have expansion that's currently underway to be able to provide healthy, fresh, locally grown produce that couldn't grow in our climate before.
I think I struggled for a while to sort of figure out how art could contribute to the community the way that medicine could. And obviously you can't compare the two, but this is definitely the type of impact that I wanted to have and what I wanted to bring to this country. So community projects where I'm able to engage children or different community members to help me execute the murals.
I was really fortunate to have that opportunity after university to work abroad, but then more importantly to be able to bring that experience back to the Bahamas, and that was something that was really important to me. So I knew that I wanted to have the exposure of working in some of the larger markets in New York and in London, but my heart was always in the Bahamas, and I wanted to come back and kind of be able to give back from that perspective.
My reach is definitely the children, the next generation. Sending the message of culture and the importance of culture of this country to the next generation, because even now in this pandemic, coming out of this, culture is what's gonna make our country shine.
I have a youth group called Grace Generation where I work with young people through music and singing, vocal training. I'm also working on projects on the side where I'm teaching acting. I'm also working on helping to produce shows that will begin to give platform and space.
I am in the very fortunate position, since I have returned home from university, that my work, my profession, is how I'm able to achieve meaning and a sense of giving back to the community. So I'm just incredibly lucky. We get to do work that is meaningful to us, and it is how we make our living. It's, we get up every day and know that our purpose in going to work is to try and make a difference in somebody else's life, and that's just a very rewarding experience that we're fortunate to have.
One of the challenges for me as a classical musician is, how do I take what I do, which may seem very highbrow, and really make it relatable to the next generation? 5 years ago now, I decided that I would come up with this concept called Adventures in the Arts. Adventures in the Arts is an edutainment series concept, so a combination of entertainment and education, and putting it together and creating an experience like none other, where I combine not just piano playing, but all of the performing arts, with visual arts, with history, with culture, with politics, all of these areas. And we've reached over 1,000 students in our public and private schools during those years.
Well, the biggest thing that I'm trying to concentrate on is prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is killing too many of our Bahamian men, even at a relatively young age, in their early 50s. Needlessly, prostate cancer is probably the easiest cancer to pick up and to cure. I'm confident in saying that I am improving the community in terms of health on a daily basis. So because of that, Lyford Cay Foundation had a very important role in me being able to provide that.
Chase your dreams. And I say that not in a cliche way. I mean, find something that you're passionate about, something you enjoy. Growing up, I enjoyed going to the beach. It's a very simple thing. And you mightn't think that there could be a career in that. But the opportunity to be able to make beaches is something that until I was 20, I didn't even know existed. And if it wasn't for Lyford Cay to have gotten me into the environment, into the studies, to even be able to open my mind to what that was, then I wouldn't have been here today.
In terms of the scholars or future scholars or present scholars, I think it's very important that we decide to, once we do achieve our education, that we come back home. There's so many of us, we never speak about it, the brain drain, where there's so many academically gifted and skilled persons that never return home. So it's not always an easy journey to return home, but I think that as Bahamians, and I think I'm a nationalist, and I want to, even though it might be more difficult for me to have returned home, I'm glad that I started on that role. So yes, please come home.
There really are unlimited possibilities of opportunity. But when you grow in a small island, your world is pretty small. And I think as the doors open for you, you realize that there is a lot bigger world out there. And with that process comes the opportunity to allow others to move along with you and move beyond you one day.
I want to say to other scholars that we have been given a great gift, but to whom much is given, much is expected. And we have a responsibility to continue the culture that Lyford Cay Foundation has started, which is to continue to give.
You know, I've said many times that working for Lyford Cay Foundations in this past decade as a member of this team is my proudest professional accomplishment, and remain extremely proud and honored to have been a part of the work that we do.
I think it's fantastic that it's been going so strong for 50 years, and I hope to see that continue, for many years to come, and I'm sure it absolutely will. And I think we all have to continue to support the foundation and the educational framework in the Bahamas to really help us to continue to grow the Bahamas in many facets and give back to the younger people in our community.
I guess I'd like to say to donors and board colleagues, obviously, how grateful we are for what they've done over 50 years in seeing the Bahamas as important enough to make this type of investment.
Lyford Cay Foundation to me was a platform and a gift.
They are always the people behind the people. And I feel like they are the driving force that helps so many people to succeed in our country.
We have to be true to who it is that we are. And Lyford Cay gave me a chance all the way back then, and I ran with that. My thing is, it doesn't matter where you are, what your background is. Once you're given a chance, just run with it. Just take it as far as you possibly can go with it.
Getting that scholarship and putting myself through school with the help of the Lyford Cay Foundation made me feel like I could do anything, anything was possible after that.
Hope. Hope.
Lyford Cay Foundations continues to shape the future of the Bahamas through consistent investments in scholarship and grant programs designed to uplift and strengthen our nation, moving Bahamians forward, upward, onward, together. March on, Bahamaland.